Jeff Keighley, you son of a gun, you've done it again. The Game of the Year nominees for 2025 have just been announced. Jordon and I are going to go over each of them, kind of our quick thoughts on them, what were the snubs, what is stuff we might have replaced, just overall our personal picks for the year. So Jordon, go ahead and read off the Game of the Year nominees list for 2025.
For 2025 Game of the Year, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Hollow Knight's Silksong, Hades 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Man, the fact that like over half of these are sequels,
yeah,
blows my mind.
Excellent points as well too. So Jordon, just quick overview, what do we think of the list? Is
Honestly,
this good? Is this bad?
This may be one of the greatest Game of the Year competitions I've ever seen. Like, if it wasn't for one particular nominee, I would say it would be one of the tightest races I've ever seen.
Most certainly. Because I think we are all pretty sure who's going to take the big dub this year. But
we'll put a pin in that and talk about it later.
We will indeed. Let's just go over the list real quick and kind of see if we, is this a stay? Is this a keep? What do we think? So like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, let's just get that one out of the way. That's the easiest nominee, the one I think you're probably an idiot if you didn't see that one being nominated.
I gotta say, for a game that was released all the way back in April, to have the staying power that Expedition 33 did, it blows my mind. I mean, there's tons of other games that came out in the first part of the year. Like, there was Monster Hunter Wilds, there was Split Fiction, all good games. But, like, none of them were touching Expedition 33.
I remember earlier, Monster Hunter Wilds was one when I was making these early predictions. I really thought that was going to remain on there, and that was one of the first ones to just get freaking axed. Like, that has had little staying power for the online game as well. So even for a single player game like this to have that kind of staying power, well deserving of the nomination. Death Stranding 2. Did you play Death Stranding 2 or just touch it?
I haven't had the chance to touch it, dude.
Okay. I'm a big fan of Death Stranding 1. I'm a really big fan of Death Stranding 2. I don't think it's like... Maybe some people gave it slightly bit more praise than I would have, but I still think this is a really good game that improves upon the original's formula, that I thought there was a lot of good additions. I think this is a well-placed nomination. If I had to do my spicy hot take, if we were doing one PlayStation add-on here, I know sometimes they do multiple, but like if a PlayStation exclusive had to be on here, I'd choose this over Yote. That's just what I'd be. So I'm happy to see that one here.
No offense against Yote. I mean, again, Ghost of Yote was everything that a sequel should be. It was fantastic. The only thing that was kind of lacking, and I would say, was the story department.
Definitely.
I feel like the story in the first one was a slam dunk. If they had kept that in this one, it might have been a little bit closer, but just from reviews that I've heard from other people, stuff from gameplay that I've seen, I feel like Death Stranding definitely deserves to be there.
Definitely.
All right, so Donkey Kong Bonanza. I actually bought a Switch 2 just to play Donkey Kong Bonanza.
He did.
Was it worth it? I'd go as far as to say, yeah, it was a great game. I rave about it all the time. The destructible environments, being able to use those not only for weapons and traversal, it's crazy. I was seeing some people do wicked tech. Jumping, spinning, throwing, jumping again, skipping entire sections of the game. I mean, it was practically like a sandbox game.
Literally.
Crazy.
I thought they had a really good formula. I'm a very big fan. I think both of us are of like 3D Mario games. So I was a little upset when I saw that this wasn't going to be the next thing, but like, freaking great time. I had an absolute blast. I think it's a great video game for the Switch too. Same thing if a Nintendo one had to be on here for the year. It's not even close comparing this to like Mario Kart World. No. That was never in the conversation. So amazing final like hour and a half to 2 hours of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah. So
I've seen a lot of people say that like this Donkey Kong Bonanza is better than any 3D Mario game that's come before it. I hard disagree. Agreed. I still think that Super Mario Galaxy holds that spot, and it will not be dethroned until they bring us something truly revolutionary.
Agreed.
However, Donkey Kong Bonanza did scratch that itch that I had for a good 3D platformer like Mario.
Absolutely.
I was not upset that we weren't getting a new Mario. Especially, think of all the Donkey Kong games that we've got in the past.
Exactly.
We haven't gotten anything like this.
Well worthy. That's would have been on my picks too. So then we have Hades 2. One, you've played the original, but you have not played the sequel yet, have you?
Correct. I'm still behind.
So I played the sequel. I'm a massive Supergiant fan, and I remember telling him when we always kind of make our like top 5, top 10s throughout the year, shift them around. And when I got to the end of Hades 2 and I had sent a text and I was like, buddy, Ghost of Yote, this, that, and the fourth, they all got dethroned, man. I think Hades 2 was in like my top 3 of the year. Hades 2 rips. This was a no-brainer for me. It would have been a big misfire if this was not included on here. It was never in my mind this was going to be a nomination. So absolutely, extremely well-deserved.
There were several brand deals that you were working on that you almost missed because you were too busy playing Hades 2. There were multiple nights we tried to get Jacob on the mic to play something, to play either a new multiplayer game or just hop on Fortnite or just do something together. Be productive. Get through some of these other games in the year. And he'd just say, sorry guys, Hades 2 is on my mind right now. I can't do anything else.
And I'll tell you what, because it was only out on the Switch 2 and the PC, so like we just bought the Switch 2 as well too. Literally the dream console to play Hades 2 on, man. Like absolutely, it looked beautiful, it ran perfect. I took it on the go constantly. Phenomenal. Absolutely. That was a must-have here for sure.
So Hollow Knight Silksong. We've talked about it extensively.
We have 2 hours of Hollow Knight conversation on this channel if you'd like to go click.
Yeah, to force them to click. We're not going to talk any more about this, so you have to go and see what we had to say.
Exactly, but just know it should be on the list.
It's definitely worth it.
And so the final nomination that we have, and this is, we had both kind of created our prediction list for Game of the Year. And I'll tell you, all 5 of those were on our list. The last one was we weren't too sure. And so I'm not surprised that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is on here that much. But I will say when we're getting into snubs, I think the only other choice that could have been here was Split Fiction. I think it has a higher Metacritic score than it. It had very similar critical reception. I personally like Split Fiction more than I like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so I probably would have swapped it. But that's just me. So what do you think about KCD 2's nomination?
I am not upset about it. People online are going to think that I hate the game. I made a couple jokes about it because the combat's not great. And everybody's just assumed that I hate Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and I hate all RPGs. Not the case. But I will say, there was another potential nominee that I thought was coming. It was like a Hail Mary, like could potentially, but really unlikely, with Dispatch.
Yes.
Dispatch being one of like the first Telltale style games to get a nomination, with it being as popular as it was, with it being as good of a story that it was. I think something that might have held it back a little bit was not every decision that you made really had huge impact on the story. There definitely were things that you did, no spoilers, that influenced the very last episode.
Yeah.
And that was choices that you were making all the way from episode 1.
Yep.
But I feel like just to get a little bit more of a well-rounded kind of list of nominations, because Clair Obscur, I mean, it already covers the RPG. Like, we have 2 RPGs on here. I really thought that Game of the Year has a no RPGs rule.
Yeah.
Not a no RPG rule. They're allowed 1.
Right.
But they broke that rule this year to allow 2 RPGs with Expedition 33 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Well, there is another 2 things, at least I guess when it comes to the snubs that we just talked about. Blueprints is not one that I personally would have put on there, but I definitely saw the potential for that because of the critical reception. But we did recently find out, I guess, the budget was so small that they could only do the game. I don't know if it's in only English, but basically the languages that it is in is limited because of their budget. And the people on the board for Game of the Year are all across the world, basically. And obviously with Blueprints being a puzzle game as it is, you cannot play that game if it is not in your language. Like, it's not possible. So I would assume a lot of these guys didn't even get the chance to play it. And then Dispatch, also, I agree with you. I didn't fact check this, but I was told that because all the episodes were not out, it didn't meet the cutoff
I
list,
see.
basically.
Okay.
It didn't meet the cutoff list. So, because I mean, think about it. We just finished it, what, last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that could have been another easy swap for KCD2, in my opinion. But so even two other really good nominations, I think were just not even to do with the game of itself, just circumstances. They weren't even allowed on there. So, like, as far as my thoughts on the list overall, I think this is a crazy strong list and one that I saw coming a mile away. The only slot that was in question was the KCD2 one. And again, that was on my potential list for the ones that would, I don't think I've ever been this accurate with my predictions as well. And so another thing to chat about too is the fact that we have technically two really big indie games, and then Clair Obscur is not, it's more on the AA side, but just, these aren't these giant AAA games basically that are on here, So
and if we're looking at the top 3 highest Metacritic scores, correct me if I'm wrong, out of these 6, those 3 hold the highest spots.
They are. I believe it goes Hades 2, Expedition 33, and then I think Silksong is above the rest.
So just crazy year for us to have not only fantastic games that came out, but a lot of fantastic smaller studios putting these AAA guys to shame. Because Donkey Kong Bonanza, I mean, that's Nintendo. Death Stranding 2, you're looking at PlayStation. With Hollow Knight Silksong being only the second legit game from Team Cherry. With Expedition 33 being the first big game from Sandfall. To stand toe-to-toe with PlayStation and Nintendo is absolutely wild.
And in my opinion, they would win Game of the Year before the other two. I think those two are not only both better games, I mean, even just critically, they were received even better too. So just the competition was steep this year, but a lot of the smaller guys are winning. Another thing that's insane is how many nominees Expedition 33 received for all the rest of here. So that's 9 nominees. So Expedition 33 took 9 nominees. And when it comes to the voice acting, they had 3. They did half of the list is Expedition 33 when it comes to best performance.
The way that my jaw dropped when I saw that it was just Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Jennifer English. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Ben Starr. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Charlie Cox. I was surprised we didn't get Andy Serkis in there.
I'm going to be so honest and give even a hotter take. I know why they didn't do it, but it deserved to be the entire cast.
Yeah.
Like, Ghost of Yote, I'm very sorry. She's good. I don't think she was better than Minoko or Eskie. You know what I mean? Like, same thing, Troy Baker. I love Troy Baker. He did phenomenal in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I think they're better. And then Silent Hill F. I understand why they didn't do all Expedition 33, but in my heart, it was never anybody else. They were the best choices pretty much regardless.
Ghost of Yote, Great Circle, Silent Hill F, all fine games.
Yeah.
No other game this year made me cry multiple times from performances other than Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Like, actual tears.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. And the fact that Charlie Cox is getting nominated for walking into a studio 4.5 hours of just...
Oh my God.
Oh.
Incredible.
I will say one thing. Expedition 33 was nominated for Best Indie Game and Best Indie Debut Game. I think that's unfair. They are much closer to a AA studio than they are an indie studio, and it's unfair because they're going to win. Like, if somebody else wins, I mean, Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong are huge. Blueprints, I mean, they got their nomination with Best Independent Game. Congratulations. Ball Pit was huge.
Yeah, Absalom got a lot of love when it came out. So.
Absolutely. So, like, it's not like it's a clear runaway, but I mean, if you're going to be picking any of them, I feel like Expedition 33 would probably be the winner amongst those nominated. If it's not, great. All of them are fantastic games.
Definitely.
But I really think that slot should have gone to somebody else.
I don't hate that take whatsoever, because it's like the water got muddy with the whole, like, yes, it was created by 30 people, but they also had a publisher and they also subbed out a lot of work
it was not just 33 people who did it. Like, there were several hundred, I'm sure, people who actually did work.
The term indie game and indie studio has always been a little bit like, it kind of means smaller scale, but sometimes you can have a publisher and still be considered an indie game. It's like, there's no clear-cut line, but like, I'd hit it on the AA side. But again, it still completely deserves respect for being the first game the studio's ever put out. But
Definitely.
Like, I agree. Like, indie game, it stands out amongst the others quite a bit, in my opinion, you know, so.
The only other award that I think is going to be really hard to pin down who the winner's going to be is going to be Best Score in Music.
Definitely.
It's coming down to the same people who were nominated for Game of the Year, minus Ghost of Yote.
Jesus, yeah, it really is.
No offense to Ghost of Yote, I don't know why you're here, but like they...
There's no offense. Like, I don't know why Ghost of Yote's here.
But Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, I mean, that's just our Game of the Year nominees.
I've been jamming to all of their tracks. Seriously, Expedition, I can't even count how many tracks I have saved on my phone. Death Stranding 2, I'm a big Woodkid fan, so like To the Wilder, an incredible song. Minus 61 opens up Death Stranding 2, remarkable music from Woodkid. Hades 2, Darren Korb's always a master. Hollow Knight Silksong, Christopher Larkin, like we've talked about the soundtrack again extensively on our other videos as well too. Any of them could win, and I'm like, that totally makes sense. Like, they're all really good, but I'm still giving my personal choice probably to Expedition, just being of the fact that, like, everybody on this list has done work before in music. This is Lauren Testard's first full-length, like, feature anything, and it's a slam dunk, dude, a grand salami, man. Like, absolutely remarkable, but I do think that category has stiff competition for scored music. They are all great besides Yote. Yote is at the bottom of the list by a hefty chunk, in my opinion, a hefty chunk.
It sounds like we hate Ghost of Yote. Finished the game to 100%. Fantastic. Loved every minute of it. It just does not hold a candle to anything else up here. Like, I also think that Claire Obscure should win for Best Score in Music.
Definitely.
But if anybody else wins, like, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be upset because they put in the work.
Yeah, definitely. Yote is one I'd be like, what are we doing here? Because that's another thing, too. We didn't even mention this earlier, but a lot of people are going to talk about Yote being snubbed for Game of the Year. And if I'm giving my personal opinion, it doesn't belong on the list. It does not belong on the list. It is a good game. It's not better than the other ones nominated. And even the other potential ones, like if it was Split Fiction that was nominated on there, like to me, I'd have that above Yote. That's just me. I don't think it was snubbed. I think it's a really good video game. These top ones they're top dogs, man. Like these are big boys right here.
I didn't play Death Stranding 2. I didn't play Hades 2. If I had to replace both of those with games that I have played, Yote it wouldn't be there, unfortunately.
Because again, we'd also have Dispatch too. Like if we were in a perfect world where that could be slotted in there from our favorite, like we'd slide that Joker in there. I had more fun with Dispatch than Yote, and that's a crazy take because it's a TV show movie game, but I had more fun with it.
Dispatch, Battlefield 6, Peak, all games that I had more fun playing than Yote.
Yeah,
it's again. Not that Yote is bad. We just had a fantastic year for games this year.
Definitely.
So, Jacob, tell me, how does this year stack up to past years for the Game of the Year awards?
I think this is one of the greatest selections for Game of the Year. Every single year when this stuff gets announced, there's always 2-3 games. I'm like, what a misfire, like, I'll go ahead and try to look up some real quick. So like even just for example, I just pulled like a random year. So like 2021, we have the Game of the Year nominations. Like we have Deathloop on there, Psychonauts 2, excellent choices, but like no Returnal on there. And that's the biggest misfire. So basically the point I'm getting at is that I could pinpoint every single year a game or two that I'm like, dude, how on earth did this get nominated? How is this a misfire? This is the most unsurprised I've been at a Game of the Year nomination list. Like completely unfazed. I was like, 5 of these games are straight locks. Yeah. Straight locks. So just as far as the quality of the Game of the Year, every year people are, if this game doesn't get nominated, it's rigged. That just cannot be said this year. These are pretty much the deserving game. I have no qualms with this list at all. I kind of wish I was more upset or something, like just something, but like I'm like, look at that list, I'm like, yeah, that is the list. Is exactly the one I had ready to go.
So Jacob,
yep,
we waited long enough.
We have.
reveal to us, who do you think is going to win Game of the Year 2025?
Like the nominees list, it has never, ever in the history that I've been playing games, whatever you want to call it, there has never been a more clear winner than Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That is my personal pick for Game of the Year, and I could set every ounce of bias aside, every ounce, and there has never been a clearer winner, ever. It has the entire Game of the Year, everything at its fingertips, dude. Not only is the game phenomenal, is the voice acting phenomenal, the story's great, the gameplay's great. It gets people who were not even into turn-based games into turn-based games. That's a great feat. It did not create the idea of parrying and putting real-time elements into a turn-based game. I know that water's been getting muddy, but did it popularize the idea into 2025? Yes, it has. Like, we know Mario, I think it was, I want to say Thousand Year Door. I could be wrong. It was a Paper Mario game. Did stuff like that for a while. Again, it's not the first, not the first video game to do this, but dang, did it execute so good with the real-time elements in there. So not only do you have that, you just have in package a really good video game. Second package you have, this game is a $50 price point. In the year 2025, where we have the big conversation of 2025 is like layoffs, companies spending billions and billions of dollars on games that just completely tank, the mind's eye budget versus the actual sales it got.
The increase to $80 video games was a huge
100%.
discussion. We had to bully companies to lower their prices.
Yeah, so all of that, the insane story of how Expedition 33 even exists, from the person who wrote the story has never published a thing in their life. Lauren doing the soundtrack has never been on anything whatsoever.
They found him on SoundCloud.
The animators for the combat worked part-time. They worked part-time. Like, the list literally goes on and on. With all of those things stacking up against it, there has never been a clearer winner. I think personally, if anything was to remotely take like a second place, I would say was Hades 2. That's just not even from a me perspective, just from the Academy perspective. I think if there was remote competition, genuinely it'd be Hades 2, the highest rated Metacritic game of 2025. But I still think with those internal and external factors, Expedition has this, and it's going to be a sweep.
In addition to all of that, this also being their first game blows my mind.
Definitely.
I also believe that Expedition 33 is going to landslide victory this. It's not even close. I've seen people say online that they want Silksong to win. I've seen people online say they want KCD2 to win. It's not like it's going to be a 100% sweep for Expedition 33, but I just think overall quality, music, gameplay, nothing else comes close to it. And a majority of the people that I've seen online talking about this have come to the same conclusion at the end of the day.
I toss back up, but like my second runner-up is probably Hollow Knight Silksong. Like, I'm surprised it got nominated for a while. I didn't think it was going to be, but then the closer I got, I was like, honestly, that makes sense for sure. I really, really do not think it's going to win, like, for sure. You know, like, if I had to just, again, set my personal bias aside, it's like I had as much fun with that as I probably did Expedition from a fun factor. But again, like Hollow Knight, we talked about it before, like it's in its own bubble. Dude, we know it's great. We knew it was going to be great. But like Expedition, just like the fact that it just came out of nowhere, swept away all expectations and like just pulled the rug from under us. Like, I just think it's got those things going for it. That's the direction I want to see a lot of these games take. You know what I mean? I want that to send the right message.
I can give you one reason as to why Hollow Knight Silksong will not be winning Game of the Year, unfortunately, and that is due to the difficulty.
Definitely.
Not saying that games have to be easy in order for them to be good, but easier games are more accessible to a majority of players. Silksong, I'd argue, is harder than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Definitely not harder than every other Soulsborne game out there, but it's harder than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring was a lock for Game of the Year back in 2022.
I could argue the fact that Sekiro did win Game of the Year though too. It did win back, I think, in 2019. But I still agree, because there was a lot. Like, I think the fact that people knew that was going to be a challenge, even though it was Sekiro for me was very difficult when I first booted it up. But it's like once you master it, it really makes sense and it locks. But like Silksong, I think there was a steeper difficulty from the original to 2, so maybe that just threw people off.
Yeah, it was a tough learning curve for a lot of people who were familiar and comfortable with Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
So having to change that, I saw so many people say they just straight up dropped Silksong
I saw that.
because of that. And that is the reason why I think that it just unfortunately doesn't stand a chance against Clair Obscur, which had easy to very extremely hard difficult.
Yep.
Jacob will see you out in LA for the Game of the Year awards. Send me a postcard.
I will. And so we will definitely be probably covering the post Game of the Year stuff as well, as far as any other like games. We'll definitely do, I don't know exactly what we want to do, but we will cover the winners, maybe some of our favorite announcements from the show as well too. Definitely think we know what we're expecting when it comes to winners and whatnot, but definitely look forward to that. And check out our Silksong videos and our Hollow Knight ones too if you want to kind of see further on what we think of that. We have long videos on Hollow Knight. So yeah, I guess we will see y'all in December.
Who's the lead director of Expedition 33?
Guillaume Brochia. Mm-hmm.
How long are Guillaume Brioche's arms?
I don't know.
They need to be like extra long to be able to hold all those trophies, carrying them
walking on stage. Thanks, guys.
Wow, couldn't have expected it.
Maybe then we'll be convinced France is a real place.
Yeah.